Hello, my creative collective. This is your creative unconscious reading for Saturday Shadowwork, which is very exciting. Very exciting. So I had this idea pop into mind while doing some of these readings, and the idea of like our shadow kind of running away with us where we ignore and suppress feelings and things that we say that we've healed, and instead of communicating with people about it, we just assume that they know, so we buy into this like guess culture. And it's googleable, it's very interesting. But it's like this guessing culture where you are assuming different things about people, and those assumptions usually burn in the end because they're not true, but also they disconnect you from your truth and your spirit and your path and all of these different things, because instead of just having a conversation or understanding where someone's coming from or what's actually happening, people just have like this pew 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 pew, like it's just like all of these things going wild when really there's not any need for it because it's just not there, right? And this can show up like, I have a huge family on my dad's side, and miscommunication happens and all of that. And that's not to malign anyone that does this, because it, like, we fall into it so easy. That's why it's shadow work, right? That's why it's a creative unconscious thing that happens. And my cat is very, yeah, she has a lot of opinions on this. But I was just thinking about this and how we project onto people, instead of like, if it's not something that, like, if there's situations or work or jobs or projects that we don't want, instead of just saying that, we can create these whole storylines that just aren't true. Which is like, if that's what somebody needs to, articulate themselves and express themselves, then fine. But there's something about guess culture that just kept rolling around my brain this morning, and I wanted to put this into and to kind of imbue the shadow work spread this morning with that, and the kind of need to really give ourselves a breather sometimes, so that we're not doing the work of understanding other people's intentions, right? We're not doing the work of trying to figure out all of this stuff, right? Just divest from guess culture. Why? Because it screws with your heart space. It 222 just showed up on the time. It screws with your heart space, and it really it incapacitates you from being able to move forward. Like, it just immobilizes you, not out of fear, but because you may say, like, I'm ending this pattern and screw that and blah, I'm not stuck anymore. But you are, if there's not a full story, if there's no definitive answer to be had, right? And I've had to kind of pull back and understand this too, because there are times where we don't get closure, we don't get those things. So I wanted to put together this reading for healing that energy, and to offer this guidance, the channeling that's coming through in regards to that energy, because we can do so much harm through our assumptions, and we can do so much harm to ourselves in that process too. And I think that recognizing that, I wanted to put this together for you, my wonderful creative collective. If this was something that you were working through, it's been on my mind this morning and today and all of that jazz. So I am going to dive right in, but first I'm going to let my cat out. Give me 1 second here. Yes, I know, baby girl. There you go. Okay, so I am going to use the Tarot of Light and Shadow. So this is the shadow side. So that particular deck I got a while ago, and I've loved working with it so far. So the Tarot of Light and Shadow, it has like a light side and a darker side. Darker just meaning the shadow side. So it's different aspects of the cards, and they're not necessarily reversals, but the art is quite different and striking in some of them. And I just really like the art itself as well. Like the Ace of Wands. Look at that energy. So good. So good. So before I begin, I would like to invite the angels, my spirit guides, my guardian angels, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so Spirit, what messages do you have from a creative collective shadow for us today for healing? Thank you so much. Okay, so we have so in this deck, pentacles are actually serpents. And then we also have the King of Cups, and we have the Hermit. And we have the Two of Wands. Okay. So this is the Nine of Pentacles, so the Nine of Serpents. What I think that is sort of like you've kind of been ignoring your confidence a little bit, and I think that you've been ignoring it because it's like you're waiting for, this is sort of to me coming across as you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like you're waiting for just like, it's like you're waiting. There's like this invisible energy that's going to shatter something, and you just keep waiting for something horrible to happen. I know it's the King of Cups energy, which is more emotions, but it's almost like you're waiting for something to happen emotionally that's going to knock your crown, that's going to totally destroy things, that's going to take a wrecking ball to your capacity to give and receive love. And I think it's like you're ignoring your own wisdom about it. You're kind of ignoring your own wisdom. And that's what you have to overcome, is like you have to overcome the inclination towards pushing wisdom away and feeling like you're kind of in a desert internally. Like there's no, like, yeah. I'm almost seeing this like illusion, right? Because of the moon here. Like the wisdom that you think is wisdom is actually a little bit of illusion, and it's kind of wrecking your capacity to enjoy this Nine of Pentacles. It's like taking away from your capacity to do that. And the Two of Wands is here, I think, as a way of saying that it's what you seek, like what you're seeing, what you want to see, basically. You're kind of seeing what you want to see, and there's a freedom from that you could have, and that is important to reach for. Let me just pull up a couple more cards here for clarification. Spirit, can I get some additional messages here for my creative collective regarding this creative unconscious healing that we're doing? Six of Cups. The Stars. So I think that there's healing. There's healing taking place. So healing is the standard issue thing of this card, but I'm also seeing that, so in this particular card, the artist had the water bearer holding back. So I think this is like, there's wisdom in knowing when to hold back and when to give. There's a balance, right? There's a certain drawing on there's like knowing when to pour into other people's cup and when to turn inward and reflect. And I think that this is sort of an extension of that hermit wisdom, right? It's like an extension of that hermit wisdom. And the Six of Cups to me can represent past life stuff. It can also represent illusion as well. Illusion when it comes out with some of this energy, but illusion where it's sort of innocence, right? I think that there's an innocence that you're not permitting yourself to believe exists, and that needs to be healed. It's like you're holding back this watery energy, this emotion, this flow of love, because you're believing that the innocence, it's not possible. Like you have to, Two of Wands, you have to plan it. You have to have your hand in it. You have to do that kind of thing in order for you to believe that it's possible or that it exists, which is honestly understandable. Like after you've been hurt many times, like people can be really horrible. And if you've been really hurt, that's an understandable reaction. And anyone who tries to tell you differently, that's not compassionate energy. So understand where that's coming from. But I think that there's a way that you're kind of holding yourself back from this, right? And it's important to keep in mind too, that like the Nine of Pentacles represents confidence, but what I'm seeing in these cards, so it's the Ouroboros, and it's like dead stories, like the one part of you that's alive, this one part of you here, it's like you're feeding on these dead narratives, right? You're feeding on these dead narratives, and it's sort of like that's what's sustaining you in perpetuity. But you want something that's not gonna like shatter your capacity for love. You want something that's gonna be like, you're gonna be wise to it, and you're not gonna feel like it's this weird, you're not going to have to, it's just this, it goes back to like this guess thing. This is where it's like, it's strange that it kept popping into mind, but I wanted to do this reading like this because I feel like it's a really good thing to dive into, because we live in a world where social media and all of this other stuff makes it so easy to infer meaning. And, you know, I mean, I like as an intuitive person and as an empath, I look at others and sometimes you can pick up on things and all of that 10-10. But then other times I really have to go within and understand what I'm picking up on and feeling. And what of that is mine, what of that is my fears, and what of that is the truth, right? And there's this balance between them. So I'm just going to pull some clarification cards. Okay, this one here. Got it, Spirit. Sorry for shaking the camera. My other cards are right here. I'm going to pull from the Smith-Waite Tarot to clarify this here. So Spirit, can I get some clarifying messages on this, please and thank you? From a creative unconscious reading from a creative collective here. Messages from our inner child. King of Swords, yeah. Queen of Pentacles. I feel like you've often felt like you have to carry the burden of wisdom, of like being the one who's always wise to things, right? Like this is big empath energy. I read a book a while ago that said I don't want to be an empath anymore. I was like, that's a funny title. And I read it and I was like, that's almost how this feels, right? Like you're feeling burdened by it. But I think that the clarity that's coming to you, this King of Swords on the Nine of Pentacles, is like what's no longer working, right? So you have the King of Swords on the Nine of Pentacles, and then you have the Queen of Pentacles on the King of Cups in this shadow energy. And I think that what this is telling me is that there's like a meaning that you're coming to understand. There's like you're understanding what's actually happening, right? Tangible, what is actually real, what is actually happening. But I do think that there's this burden of knowing, like you felt like this burden, you felt burdened by this feeling of knowing, or feeling like you have to rely only on intuition and guessing, right? And I think that the call here is this Six of Swords is to move away from that, because it's weighing down your thought processes, it's weighing down your energy, and it's really stopping you from being able to move meaningfully with more than just the shirt off your back or on your back, right? And so we also have the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is kind of that stuck energy, and it's sort of like you're resistant to letting go and to being clear, because it's like it's going to protect you. But I think that the idea in love and relationship and opportunities and work and creativity and creative projects is not to be stuck. It's not to be stuck, right? There's got to be an even and open flow of things that happen. And sometimes that happens by having the weird or awkward conversation and just saying, hey, what the heck is going on here? And then moving forward from there, as opposed to just guessing or writing people off because you think one thing and it's just not cool. And like I've had to, like I've ended, connections with folks, not like friendships. It was more so like we knew each other on social media and they started posting things that were really harmful to what I believe in and to my belief system. And I recognized that like they haven't texted me or messaged me to ask how I was doing in like a year plus. So, I mean, yeah, we've all gone through the pandemic, but like there's understanding the depth and seriousness of what you're assuming and the relationship that you have to them. Like, what does it mean? This Queen of Pentacles, like, what does the King of Cups mean to you, right? What does this, like, this feeling of somebody coming in to destroy your cup? That's what I keep seeing with the shattered cup here, right? Someone coming in to destroy your cup. What does that mean to you? And if that means something to you, it's like, it's worth diving into understanding it more. Yeah, because it's like, I think that this is like self-imposed, right? And I'm not saying like stay with people that are hurting you. No. That's not healthy. That's not productive or anything at all. What I see here though is, yeah, like this is what you want. You want the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles together. You want the value. You want the long-term commitment and investment and the love. But I think you really have to let go of this. You have to let go of this commitment to guessing. this commitment to trying to infer meaning. Yeah, Two of Wands. Again, Two of Wands. It's like this needs to be released. Because this idea of like guessing your way through things is really getting, this is clarifying the King of Cups. So it's like the Two of Wands is really saying like this is exactly what it is. Like Two of Wands is planning, yes, but it's also like, I think that this is also like guessing. The Queen's showing up in reverse, right? It's like making it up as you go along is one thing, but it's like it gets to be really codependent when we start to make assumptions that aren't necessarily like they're untrue. And it's not that they're, so I was going to say it's not that they're not necessarily untrue, but there's a component of them that we're inferring things, right? So we're getting the inspiration wrong, right? And it's like we're feeling conflicted and in page energy and wondering why we're not in the Queen energy, which is in reverse right now, right? And that's what it's kind of doing to our energy, is it's taking away from our capacity to be fully open to meaning and to self-expression, because it's limiting our capacity to really understand and see. And it's reflective of a heart space that still needs some healing. So, I mean, by all means, like if you know certain things are happening, do not guess. But it's almost like divesting in guess culture is going to help like every other aspect of your life and project. Yeah. Because it's keeping you suspended in this state of like, I don't know what to invest in. I don't know what to do. I don't know. And it's the kind of, again, self-imposed, right? I'm going to put these two together because, yeah, it's very self-imposed. And it's like you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice here, not for the other person, not for anything other, not for projects, not for work, not for anything other than you. Anything other than you. Because I think that there's something about what you value needing to be unlocked to you. And when you have that unlocked to you, what's going to come of this is understanding what is actually fucking happening. Yeah, what is actually happening versus what you're thinking is happening. Yeah, that's the balance, right? Six of Pentacles. That's the balance that's coming in. And that's like this. So it's like you're getting clear that getting like, so the Nine of Pentacles here, then we have the King of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Five of Wands. All of this, it's showing you're getting very clear in your King of Swords about how stuck this is leaving you and how in conflict this is leaving you. And it's like, you don't deserve to live like this. This is how you deserve to live in this energy. I'm putting these two together. You deserve to live in that energy because you're manifesting, right? I'm putting this right here because this is the Two of Wands energy and the Magician. This is like the 3D magician. This is like the 5D shit. This is the juicy good that's going to manifest stuff for you that you really want, right? That's drawing in, that's magnetizing, healing. This is like huge right now. So I think like this inner child message is like, when you are so wrapped up in guessing and not just talking, what ends up happening is your inner child starts to go into overdrive and function from places that it used to when this gets activated, right? I know that I've had guess culture in my family in certain ways where you had to guess what people were feeling and thinking. And it kind of turned into people pleasing. So it's like you have to guess, and constantly guessing means that you're never really connected to what you want because you're always suspended in this state of planning the next step and figuring out what's next and, dodging this conflict or managing this conflict when you just need to be like, nope, I'm actually really clear. Thanks. And like, it's not about cutting it out either. It's not about just like, it's not about that energy because then that's not addressing the need for healing the problem in the first place, right? So Spirit, can I get some clarification here? How is this happening? Tell me a little bit about the dynamics of this. Yeah, I think you have to go within a little bit. You have to go within and also without, right? Like this is external public recognition. So to me, this is sort of like going to your internal sources of wisdom and external sources of wisdom as a path through. Justice came out as well. And Page of Cups. So I think this is telling me that there is going to be clarity that comes from this. And like, I think that for me, the Queen of Swords, justice is like cause and effect. But I also feel like justice is the minor arcana version can be the Queen of Swords because you're just very clear, right? You're very clear and you're taking a deep dive into what's actually true. Like sometimes it feels like it's just this little truth, this little emotional offer, this little, pentacle, if we were to put the Knight of Pentacles here, this little thing that you value. But then it gets blown way out of proportion and so distant from you because of all of this, because of all of this extant conflict that doesn't need to be there. Extant conflict that doesn't need to be there on the split. Yeah. And I think that we liberate ourselves creatively, but we also liberate our inner child, because it means that the burden isn't on you. The burden isn't on you to guess what's in everybody's cup. It doesn't, yeah, like it's that moon energy, right? You're guessing. You deserve freedom. You deserve freedom. You really do. Yeah, but you know this. You know, going from the King of Swords to the Queen of Swords to the High Priestess is like the evolution of your intuitive knowing about this pattern and knowing about this thing. Like I sometimes slip into this too, but it's not something that's been overly active for me. But it kept popping into my head because people were talking about this kind of thing and in different ways too. Like it was conversations with people, like strangers. And that's where I was like, oh, this is kind of like a collective thing that may need to be talked about. Six of Cups again. Yeah, I think it's like when you look back from a sense of nostalgia, right? Like nostalgia, that like fond memories, all of that stuff. I think it's about healing the way that you saw things before and understanding that it's okay for you to see things differently now, because there's a part of you, your inner child is being integrated and you're protecting yourself, right? It's not about using this pattern to protect yourself. You're protected. And when we slip into this kind of like guessing pattern, it's like the tower energy comes, because then we can't recognize what's real and what's not. We can't recognize what's real and what's not. And I just like, I want to wrap you up in my heart and just say, like, it's okay to heal. It's okay to heal. It's okay. Like, let this be a teacher. Like, it's okay. I have so much compassion for this energy. Oh my God. Ace of Pentacles and Empress. But there is like this overarching worry, but I think that you're understanding more how this leaves you. Your heartscape and your heart space becomes fertile ground for creating something that's really truly valuable for you when you work through this pattern and habit. And I'm not judging anybody. Like I said, don't worry about that. I'm not judging anyone, because this is tough. Like there are sometimes I still slip into this, right? Like home was at times a little volatile. 2222 on the time. And I'm not going to tell the story of pain and hurt. What I'm going to do is to articulate the truth and say that you have to make choices at some point or another. Are you going to believe that you have to guess your way through everything, or are you going to step into some healing? And not being like you need healing, not like judgmentally either. But it's just like I'm seeing this like scared little kid. Like I'm getting the image of this little worried little ball of, wonder and awe that should be nurtured and instead was made to guess. And instead was made to wonder. And that guessing and wondering made them wonder if they were worth it, or if they were worth investing in, or if they were worth the time, when I would like to, just set the record straight that you are. You are. Absolutely. Every day, all week, all year, for the rest of your fucking life, you are worth it. 2323 on the time. Yeah. You're worth it. I'm just pulling one more. Yeah, the World. It's done. It's done. It's done if you want it to be. This pattern can be done if you want it to be. And sometimes it's just a matter of that, like, without like help from outside. Sometimes it's just a matter of having, people cheer you on, or having people embrace you when you feel prickly, right? Like there are times where I'm like, ugh, like I'm annoyed with myself because I'm so annoyed at everything. And I'm like, ugh, I'm just prickly. Like I recognize that, and I have vocabulary to describe that. So I'll say like, ugh, I'm just prickly today. Like I don't know what it is. And people will be able to meet me in that place in a much more positive and healing way. And it also honors the inner child that sometimes just needs to be prickly some days because there's some boundary violation that was struck or something along those lines, right? That incited the reaction of other stuff. So it's just like, you do not have to continue to invest in guess culture. It really is to your detriment. Honestly, it is. But again, like I have so much compassion. I have so much compassion for this. I really do. We also live in a world that rewards correct guesses, right? We live in a world that rewards the one who can guess the most correctly about things, because then it means that it it's more efficient. That's how it's seen, as like efficiency, right? I'm just gonna let my cat in because my little child is trying to get in here. Come on, darling. But like we live in a world that rewards guess culture. We really do. And honestly, like as someone who's neurodivergent, implicit meaning is like my nightmare, because I don't always get it right. And there are times where I will absolutely get it wrong. And I've had to make tremendous peace with that's just how I am in this system, in this world that we live in. And that's not to say like, oh, it's about me. No. What I'm saying with that, by saying that, is that sometimes like I've gotten used to just being very clear. And sometimes it's not super sexy. Sometimes it's not super subtle either. But I would rather be clear than have to guess and, subject my inner child to that stuff over and over. So I think it's really important that we liberate ourselves from those patterns. And, sometimes like this is coming up because of how many conversations I've had with people without meaning to and without intending to, that just like it went down this road. So I'm just going to pull a card from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. Spirit, can I get some just additional messages here of guidance for my wonderful creative unconscious collective for this inner child reading? Just can you give them some soothing advice and wisdom just to heal their beautiful hearts? Yeah, embrace, heal. Look at that. Thank you so much, Spirit. Opportunity beckons. So I think this is kind of a call to heal. Balance, love abounds. Just one or two more for my creative collective, Spirit. Thank you. Crown chakra. So I think that this is about being connected to, crown chakra, open up. That's like direct advice. So crown chakra, open up. So I heard Akashic wisdom. Now, something that I had to learn, and a process that I had to learn to do and work with. So access to the Akashic records and that kind of cosmic library is in the 8th chakra, which is above the crown chakra, just by like an inch or so. And I'm almost getting that it's like this opening up that you're doing to the crown chakra, and that it's really balancing the lower chakras and giving you this really intense, wonderful, intuitive wisdom. But I found the 8th chakra not just, it doesn't just help with the Akashic records, but it also helps with past lives as well. So if this is like, and the reason why I'm saying this is because there are times where I've worked through, or, there's still things that I'm working through with my inner child. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm fully healed. One and done. No, that's not how that works. There are ways that I have to work through things, and I always do a double check if it's a pattern that's continuously showed up. And I've just kind of like done I've like checked it against what is in the Akashic records and in those past life hallways, I guess you could say, where I've asked if it is something that isn't like that's connected to this. And with the 6 of Cups, I mean, I'm inclined to believe that this is that sort of like, this is the inner child energy, right? Like this is the inner child energy to me, and the way it's showing up here. And I think that it can also be past life. So it could be helpful just to do that, but there could also be ways that your guides are talking to you that's relieving you of your duties. Like, you no longer need to be standing at the post, my darling, that tells you 2929 on the time. You no longer need to be standing like a sentinel at the post waiting for the truth to get in and to let people in on a militant or like that militaristic Mars energy of conquering and, Five of Swords being right at all costs. The High Priestess is on your side. It's not, I don't believe it will be the same again. I was talking to that stranger about it, and we had a conversation about how, like, it's not like you're never the same after you get hurt that first time. You're never the same afterwards, and not in a way that is really damaging or like sometimes it is like taking a wrecking ball to your home. That's what it feels like someone did, but your home is your heart. And I think that like we talked about how that you're changed by it in a way that is for the better because you recognize it from a mile away. So I think it's important to divest from this idea that you have to make meaning in your life by guessing. Because I feel like it's just not, like there's spiritual, there's intuitive, there's all of that stuff, but it's like you don't need to, the energy that you have to offer other people should not be guesswork. It should not be, am I doing the right thing? Am I getting this right? How do they really feel? Like, I've been known to send emails that are clumsy and awkward and all of these different things. And, to say like, what's going on here? Or like, I want to get like those things where it's like not sexy. It's not sexy. But the point isn't to just do it for the sake of doing it. It's because it's a lot easier to start a conversation than it is to continue to guess. Right. So I think that this is kind of a reflection of that. And not that journey in particular, because I've kind of made peace with this part of me. But just the number of conversations I've had, flow and giving and receiving. I think it's really allowing yourself to receive, because this guessing is also symptomatic of a Five of Cups feeling about life and how life feels towards you. Find balance. I think that there's finding balance that we have to do. This is also, I believe, this is the Two of Pentacles in the deck. So I think that this is a call to really find balance within this habit and pattern. Share the love, right? I think it unlocks that heart. It unlocks the heart space and it helps to heal it, is what it does. And I'm just going to pull from the Notes on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley. Spirit, can I get some messages for my wonderful creative collective? You want me to use? Okay. Spirit told me to use the chakra deck that I have. Spirit, can I get some messages for my wonderful creative collective? The reason being, I think, is because there's affirmations on here, and I want these particular inner child readings to be useful, like very useful and very helpful and very healing. Healing. Yeah, there's like affirmations on it and things like that. So this is a much more direct way, I guess, of Spirit being able to give guidance. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective? Compassion. I see all things through eyes of love in my heart. I find compassion and understanding for those who are struggling and misaligned with themselves, their higher wisdom and purpose. I am kind and compassionate with myself and others, and I forgive myself for my judgments. I am compassionate. Can I get one more, please? And this is the solar plexus card in general. You are free to be yourself. Your power is yours to keep. No excuses, no apologies. Banish fear and shine your light. You have always been, you always will be. You are, you belong. That's a beautiful inner child message. Shit, that's awesome. And then this one, and then I'm gonna, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these two, sorry, that Spirit's amazing. Honestly, this is, self-love is the greatest gift of all. You are a unique expression of the divine. Know that you are connected to all that is. Let love, peace, and tranquility penetrate through your being into the world and watch as it is reflected back at you. You are love. Okay. And then we also have, we are all children of conditioning, inner child work. Let go of the oughts, shoulds, and judgments that inhibit you. Speak wisely, speak gently, speak consciously, but find your truth and express yourself. What you have to say is important. You are an expression of the divine. right? This is throat chakra related. And what I'm feeling from this is that there's a sense of compassion that you're giving yourself that is your truth. And throat chakra isn't just about speaking truth. It's also about understanding, right? It's about understanding. And if you're getting downloads through your crown chakra, which I'm inclined to believe that you are, I think that the way to balance them is perhaps through this throat chakra understanding. But that part, I said spirit was amazing because we are all children of conditioning, right? Let go of the oughts, shoulds, and judgments that inhibit you. This is the ones, including the ones about yourself. So I'm going to leave it there, but because I'm nosy, let me pull one more. Secret Language of Light deck by Denise Jarvie. I like this deck when it comes to shadow work because I feel like it illuminates, right? It's an illumination deck. So Spirit, can I get just 1 or 2 messages here for my creative collective? Soul name, remember who you are. Soul name, remember who you are. Create space. That's what we need to heal, right? Create space within that beautiful heart of yours. Soul song. I think there's a soul that you're singing, my darling. I think there's a song or a soul that you're singing. I mean, hey, it could be that you're coming into resonance with souls. It could be that you're connecting with soul family. But I think that this is, I love when this deck does this too. Can I just say that looks a whole lot like your 7th chakra, your crown chakra is opening right up to you. Doesn't it? Ooh, there we go. It's more aligned there. I love that. So I feel like there are downloads. There is wisdom coming to you. So I think it's about leaning into it and remembering that it's part of why you're here, right? You may be here. Part of your purpose is to create space for others, to have transformations like this, to go through portals like this. I get portal because of the gateway here. To go through portals like this, and so that they can sing their soul song. And I don't know if it's just a reminder that you need right now, but I wanted to put that out there. So this has been your creative unconscious reading, and I will leave it here. But just remember that you do deserve the freedom and ease, the stability. You do deserve predictability in ways that make you feel comfortable, that give you comfort. You deserve all of those things and more, my wonderful creative collective. So through this creative unconscious work, if this resonated for you or made sense to you at all, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel and also to know that videos like this resonate for you. But if we part here, I hope that you have a wonderful day and that this was helpful for you. I hope that there was guidance in here that was of use to you, my wonderful creative collective. I do adore you guys so much. So have a great day, and I will see you later.